Hello, this is Deborah Akistalankal. So today I am going to talk about Asian literature, which is literature that came from China. It is entitled The Last Rite, and I'm going to give you the analysis that I made from the story. Hello, so as said, I am going to talk about this story entitled The Last Rite by Yu-Hwa. Okay, so I entitled my analysis and presentation eventually transformation. So still the contents, first summary, followed by our interpretation, then judgment, and lastly the references. So for the summary, the story starts with the scene where a boy named Chou comes back home after having gone to college for 3 long years to his ill-stricken mother. But as it turns out, his ill-stricken mother was not the only one he'd find himself coming back home to. A self-disappointing confrontation and neglect of duty discussion with his father, a completely unexpected turnaround by his sister, a surprising revelation to his unsurprised mother, and a long been waiting rite to pass, as dictated by his culture and tradition. This is supposed to be his last. His father asked him what, after 3 years gone, he has learned in the modern school. He answered in complete respect. How broad the knowledge being taught in the modern school is that it seems to him so complicated and difficult to simply explain outright. So he's saying that you can, even though I'm going to tell you all the things, detail by detail, it would be complicated for you to understand. A master of retort, his father sneered at him, telling him there is nothing more complicated to learn and to explain if only what the modern school teaches boys like him is just how to live a life of a man, not a bunch of sciences and the varied culture and all that crap. Then his father led the talk into raising an awful reminder of the neglected duty his son has left in the house since he went away. So we're going to look at what is this duty that they're saying. As the culture dictates, he owes gravely to his father and a wish by his grandmother, a dying grandmother, he quietly traditionally needed to grant. Yeah, so what is this? Okay, now going also or continuing, his sister was excited for the coming of her soon-to-be sister-in-law. So now we are already getting hint that there is already the right and also the word is sister-in-law. She shall finally have someone to talk to and sue with. Upon this, Chou was infuriated and completely taken aback. For a long time, he thought he could have his sister on his side and have counted her support in undertaking his new modern ways and ideas. However, it's not. He has duties and responsibilities only to himself as an individual. He claims during their conversation, and none to this fiancé of his, but fake ones. So it's like this arranged is fake to him. He told his sister that her mind is poisoned for yielding and compromising to this culture. Moreover, he added that he does not wish to marry her, the fiancée, for she is not the type of girl that she would choose for himself to marry. Okay. His mother told him not to tell his father anything of this until all the wedding is over. So still they want to push through. He had just told his mother that he's already married to another woman, a modern friend in college. It turned out after this supposed to be shocking revelation to his mother that apparently didn't surprise her a bit. So it's like, I think the mother, or I believe the mother is already expecting this. For she calmly replied to his son that a marriage, no matter when, where, or whom, is not and never a marriage as long as the family had never arranged it. So if the family didn't, or it's like the intervention or maybe the agreement, approval, it's never a marriage. It's never a marriage. This just becomes something unrecognized by the whole family unless acted upon with destitution by the unauthorized wedded wife to be just the second one to his groom. His woman, if she wishes to be recognized, has to beg to become the second wife if the arranged wedding pushes through. He thought again of how the family's morality bespeaks paradoxical ideals so loudly upon these discussions with his mother. So we're getting the story there. Soon later, the wedding happened and was pushed through. The red sedan of the fiancé was brought to the house of Chou. The night came and both were inside the newlywed chamber, as dictated by culture and tradition in part of the house. So they're expected to really have in easier word, or yeah, you already know that, lovemaking or maybe honeymoon the night after the wedding. Okay, so during that night, however drowned and clouded and hard his mind might be after the many rounds of drinking he had with his cousin prior, during his long due thinking he has gotten beside that bed, as soon as the tears had started to fall down on his bride's robed cheeks, he exercised the right. So yeah, again, he exercised his right. So that is the summary of the story. So though we can tell that there are discussions happening in his mind, there are internal conflicts happening in his mind, still he exercised the rights. So now we're going to look at the interpretations. I put S there because I am going to talk about two significant interpretations here. Okay, so first one, respect to parents versus personal happiness. This is the interpretation that I was able to generate. People are designed to honor their parents. We are really meant to do that. The people who are considered as, because these are the people who are considered as our vessels to be on this planet, or to have our existence. Everyone is expected to appreciate their mother and father and give respect not only because of the reason of birth, but because of the fact that they opted to take the role of a parent and raise the life that is accounted to them, which is the children. In this story, however, we can see the conflict where Chou is facing. It is a dilemma of following his own happiness as someone who is enlightened by education, or to follow the will of his parents as a sign of respect. Yet we know that this will involve like his conscience does not approve it. Relating to real life, people are put in similar situation where they are to choose between their own happiness, which is not pleasing to their parents, or to respect their parents by doing things that sooner or later will not give them happiness, or even they will blame people in the future. Next one, tradition versus modernity. Everyone in this world has their own culture, ideas, and tradition of how the world should be. They have things that have been in their tradition for years or even thousands of years. But what happens when our own culture and ideas get challenged by new things that represent change? People start to get chaotic and immediately start to reject something that they do not want to give a try, or does not seem right to them. Chou, who is Chinese, is expected to get married through arrangement, and the bride is decided by people around him, usually parents. However, going away for education and knowing his rights in modernity, he is already a married man by his choice. He believed in love. Traditions are very important, but what these traditions start to affect us negatively, it's best we do away from the bad aspects. Or if or if it or if we need to make an effort to modify it into something positive, we can do that as an option. In our daily lives or in our lives today, we can only possess maturity when we're able to respect the various beliefs of people around us. However, when we are going to talk about this includes tradition and the change or the modernity, the modern times. Next one, third part, judgment. So I'm going to start this with a line. Starts with this: change is inevitable. It is the only permanent thing in the world full of uncertainties. In the story, the conflict can be seen between two opposing values, the past and the present. Chou, who married someone he loves, which is basically a well-considered choice, now gone home unaware that preparations for his arranged marriage will take place. He represents the change or reformation that is happening in the world every day. Some changes are easily accepted, but some are debated and argued as they say that it destroyed tradition or culture. You can look at the world or just look around you. There are new things that are not easily accepted. The idea of the whole story is to love tradition, but realizing that modernity is essential as the world moves and transformation are required. Everyone in this world has their own culture and ideas of how the world should be. They have things that have been in their customs for years. As Bansal quoted, these things are supposed to keep us united. Yet, what happens when our own culture and ideas get challenged by new things that represent change? People start to get chaotic and immediately start to reject something that they do not want to give a try. I said in my interpretation. The message of embracing change and modernism is giving it the chance to thrive in a society where the culture and beliefs is evident in this story. Contemplating what right attitude to display when there's change, as most people are always going to oppose it and cause an argument, leading to disputes, debates, or even war. So I think aside from saying that changes is inevitable, we don't just let it, come and go, but we should have that attitude to face it or to see, to have that awareness to adopt, which is adaptable, which is helpful. Okay, going to references, I'm going to flash to you the helpful references that I used to there. Two references. Thank you for listening and seeing, watching, viewing my presentation.